Hello again, everyone. Nice to see you. And today it's episode 8 of Project 2 of the Joy of Functional Game Dev. We are starting at v 0.7.1 in the GitHub repository. It was the start of episode 8. I have done some work, especially in the event area, but also in a couple others in formatting the code. But let's go over to the Trello board where we can say relatively completely. There's this one where we did initialization and shutdown, so we can get rid of that. That one's done. We're going to call surface creation and simple drawing done-ish. We've got all the functions listed, and if we needed to wrap the rest of them. Display and window management, similarly, we're going to define done as we're ready to. The SDL importation has all been done. We may need to wrap it. And that was this one today. This one's today. Well, this one's as of right now. Event handling. We have all the functions. All right, so let's go in and take a look, shall we? Because here's, oh, and you may notice, yes, I have started properly using all of the F# power tools. Yeah, I can now collapse by things. And one of the weird gotchas that I just could not figure out a different way around, it has to do with SDL text editing event. Oh, and also it's also text input, same problem. But so I use. Let me show you what the problem actually is. So here, in my wait event, which I've changed a little bit, because now you can optionally specify a timeout, I'm passing a pointer. That gives me a, hey, dude, native pointers unverifiable, and that's all well and good. But up here, this is really a text editing event. This is not a byte. Text is not a byte. It is a byte with 32, a fixed length array. And you may think to yourself, okay, now text byte array. And you might think, oh, it's Marshall is unmanaged type LP by val array, and size const goes 32. Is that the one? In case number of elements, fixed length array, or any number of characters, not bytes, in a string. Okay, so I got an LP val array, and that's being according to things correctly marshaled. But what happens is it then becomes angry and red. It said invalid mutation of a constant expression. Consider copying these expressions into a mutable local, da da da. So it does not like to make, even though this might seem like you would go, hey, yeah, it's a byte array, and it is. It says, you cannot make a native pointer to it. I even tried this, and I get the same result until, and I was about to give up, and I'm like, I don't know, what am I going to do? Until I realized, if I just do the field offsets. I can say this text starts here, and then the next one starts at 44. So this is the only one where I have an explicit layout. Everything else is sequential. So if I really, really want to, and I'm probably going to have to, whenever I get an SDL text editing event, I'm going to have to find the address of this and just use it through the native pointer interop stuff, which isn't that big of a deal. There's only 32. But so that was one of the hairier things that I had to deal with, and I don't really like it, but it's what I could come up with, and I'm not one of those who just researches and researches and gets into an analysis paralysis before moving forward. I'm like, I got to find a way. I found a way, and now I move on. I'll pretty much leave it like that forever. I know some people don't like to do it that way. Some people are like, no, well, you should know what the answer is. I'm like, I gotta get no answer. Do a field offset. Done. Move on with my day. Well, that's not a good way to put it. Never really sure what the so it's really a byte 32. No, well, so it goes. And I put all the event types into my SDL event, and I have all of my functions for dealing with events. This should be interesting. There's a way to filter events, and so I'm not really sure how that's going to work. There's also, hey, I can't get the event filter because it's a delegate. There is a delegate, and I haven't tested it yet. Maybe we'll test that one of these times. I also don't have an equivalent of each event type, but I can easily do so. And then the other bit, wait event. There are two wait event functions. There's wait event and there's wait event timeout. And well, one thing I wanted to make sure I did was my timeout. I want it to be in milliseconds, so I did put a unit of measure on it. And that may seem strange to some folks, but so then I have to convert it to my unit of measure when I'm done. So, but this is a timeout option. So if I say wait event none, then there's no time event, then there's no timeout. Then I say just wait event forever. Otherwise, if there's wait event timeout, if there is a timeout, if there's some value, then I take the value, and that is my timeout. And that's just how I won't do it. But so, all right. Now, let's get on to more pressing matters. Couple of things that it's just about time to do here, and one is time to factor out all this SDL stuff into its own assembly. I mean, it's swell to have it here for no, it doesn't really matter where it is, I suppose. So I'm going to add a project, new project, and it's going to be an F# not F# library, and the name SDL2FS. Get a name as any. Oh, how nice. I have not actually done the thing where I make. Okay, I'll leave assembly info in there. Get rid of these things. And we will do the thing that I know often causes the problems. I also need, That one's content copy of newer. That one's content copy of newer. All right. And of course, it decides that my still render, which needs to be on the bottom. That's very much a that's always the way, isn't it? Every time I've copied and pasted multiple things in Visual Studio, no matter what version, it always seems to muck up the order. All right. Let us add a reference to that guy. And this should allow me to delete. I mean, not, and it's a good thing for source control. And then these two as well, because then, well, that may not actually work, but let's find out. So these are both content and both are copy if newer. So I don't think that, so build, clean the solution and build it. Hey, look at you, you worked. Do you work? You do work. Does it? I'm just curious, does it copy? Oh, project 2, bin, debug. So, I'm going to clean, see what happens. So there's nothing but the content directory, and even the content directory has nothing in it. I build the solution. And hey, look at that. Everything gets copied over. Neat. Good, so there we go. So now we can work on our application. And we can work on our SDL2 binding. And they are now independent of each other, and that's a good and glorious thing. So really, there's a couple of different things that I wanted to work on. So we have our event pump. And one of the things I wanted to do here was this keysim.sim stuff. I'm using scan code. So I've got scan codes. SDL keyboard scan code dot escape. See, this is so much better now. I can use my scan codes. This one's top right, left, top down, and dot up. See, already so much better. We can actually read. Oh, those are the keys, and I decided at the moment. Well, I'll actually show you the. This bad boy. Then this is why actually I decided to go ahead with turning on some more F-sharp power tools, because this one is just this long. Oh, I see I missed a couple. Fix that up while we're here. And I've learned me a couple of new keyboard shortcuts. Decimal separator. Yes, I've learned how to use the Alt key and how to use the Control U and Shift Control U. This is going to be angrily underlining things. Currency unit, currency subunit. Make sure you still build, make sure you still run. Then, you know, what we really need to do is have ourselves a game. We do not have a game. And in fact, our game kind of, so we're floundering. Here we are, about a third of the way through the month, and we got nothing. It's okay, because we're going to figure it out. But we got some other things to do anyway. Neat. And you run. Always make sure she runs. She do run. Hit escape. And we're good there. Alright. Super cool. Couple of things that bother me. One of which is this. I have surface where I create it, and I have surface where I have to go free it. So basically, I am doing memory management inside of F#. This is basically the place where it gets allocated, and this is the place where it gets freed. Similar here for renderers and main windows and whatever else. And in reality, there's a mechanism for this. It's called iDisposable. The thing is I need to implement iDisposable in F#. Implement iDisposable F#. iDisposable, so F# snippets. Okay. What in the world? Never mind. Hey, F# for fun and profit. Let's do that. Let bindings, and I know I need to go with a use binding. Remember this. Let's create a helper function that creates an iDisposable on the fly. All right. Remember this dispose is that. All right. Well, that's great, but as is very often the case, this is a very yes, this is a very, hey, here you can do this, and this is how you use a use binding. Like, yep, that sure is. But it doesn't really, it's not a thing that I can actually go, oh, I see exactly what we're doing. See, so new to system disposable with member disp. So I can do kind of one of these things. System disposable member disp. Blah, blah, blah. So, all right, I'm gonna make a member here. All right. Alright, so really what I want to do, so for my main window, but I need it more strongly typed than that, don't I? Alright, so I need a class, and alright, I don't do a whole lot of classes in F#. F# class. I don't do very many. I want to see one. I actually tried example number 1. Alright, so that's my constructor's there, so I do a let, because what I want to do is I want to take then how do I specify an inheritance or interfaces? Some class interface I printable. Alright. Sure. So in order to do this, I'm going to have to do it. In any case, I'm going to blah blah as, oh, I don't even think I need that because I don't need to store anything. So, alright. So, I'm going to do this in here. There's window, which is an int pointer. I'm gonna make window not be that. Let us rename that to be window old. Alright, and did it change everything to window old? It did. Actually, no, we can leave it as window pointer. That way we can leave it being useful. So type window equal. So I need my constructor. Pointer, window pointer. Let's call it P. We'll just be super brief and call it PTR. Let window pointer equals PTR. And what I need. To be down here a little bit. So really this will wrap the stuff. And I need some sort of member where it can grab out. I wonder, pointer is that available? I don't know. Yep, don't do any other stuff. So, interface, disposable. Path. And then that's where F# disposable, where I can do the, for this disposable equals something, or this dot dispose. All right. Where this dot dispose equals FPTR equal int pointer 0. Then do some nothing else. Window native destroy window. So it is 0. We're not going to dispose of it, but so this, I don't actually know. This is going to return let ptr equal that. ptr new window ptr. Don't know that I can actually get to anything, so I create that. This is where probably has to be, unfortunately, it probably has to be mutable. So if I wanted to destroy Mr. Window, I just add a, oh, there we go. Go back one, let blah member. Member destroy. False. Does they have a do? Do some nothing. Well, what am I doing wrong? Do member, oh, this dot. Okay, that's the this. I don't need to do that, right? Okay. This dot destroy. So whenever I dispose, this dot destroy mutable. Enter. Okay. And I think this is sadly going to turn into a well, that's all right. So I don't actually want that at all. Of course, now my types have changed, so it's going to just really say, hey, I don't know what you're talking about here. But that's all right. Expression was expected to have dot, and I don't have the ability to get to the pointer. So I will need something at least at the moment to grab out that pointer. Remember, and how do I do a property? Sharp property get properties. Because I do actually only want to make it. Okay, so remember this with get is that. Alright. I don't actually want to set it from the outside. This dot pointer with get. Okay. With get equals ptr. So now I've got the pointer. And I can grab out the pointer. Dot pointer. Oh, we need to build, and then we can do that. Okay, now we should be able to go dot pointer. And so we no longer have a destroy. And I need to look up my using declaration. So where's use? Use. Automatically dispose one because obviously you only cannot have a top level. Okay. Blah blah. Only without disposable. Use resources. Okay. Don't do that. Got it. Okay. So I say use user use main window. And then what point? All right. I don't know. Do I indent to say this is? Let's go with an F sharp use. F sharp use. Management the use keyword. Use that as call implicitly somewhere else. So it's use it happens here. Happens at the end. All right. I'm not so sure. Not so sure. Because I also have. See, I also have an STL. Well, let's see. Let's try it out. See if it works. If it does, then Calais. And so far it seems to be working. Hit the escape, press the key, and things get freed up or whatever. I'm hoping. Well, that's cool, and that's a much better way to manage these sorts of things, and I think we're going to need to move towards that. And of course, at this point, this may as well be may as well have these things as parameters to my window constructor, and I may as well wrap window up in an object. It makes a lot of sense to do so. But the neat part is that I can dispose. I don't have to worry about the memory management, and that's actually a big deal. Because that's one of the things I want to guard against. I don't mind doing that in C or C++, where that's normal. But nuh-uh, dude. You know, why am I doing this? It's supposed to be divide by int px by 1 px. So many times. I forget. When using units of measurement, how do I get to the unitless value? You divide by whatever the unit is. One of whatever those are. And don't forget. See, like for example, this with UTF-8 string. I think a UTF-8 string would be a wonderful way to be able to construct it from a pointer, or and grab a string to it, and then not have to worry about having all these callback functions. But yeah, that's a way forward, and we would like to make a game one of these days. But in order to do that, I need Of course. Am I going to go ahead and, so we've done that with window. I will probably do that for renderer, surface, and texture one of these here days. Where's the texture get created? Texture gets created here. All right. But that's going to be my way of wrapping things with disposables, especially these sorts of things. So let's moving on. I need. Okay, so this kind of stinks right here. Well, for one thing, let's split it up into an event pump. References. I don't want to add any references. To add a new item, I want an F# item. Call you event pump. Event pump is the home of pump. Get rid of you. Put you here into event pump. And it knows nothing or anything, so it really has no dependency anywhere. Except that now I want to do event pump.event pump. Right. So I've got all this junk I don't need. Okay, this is test code for versioning. Really? The thing I want to do, and my event handler is fine, so I've got some sort of state. So I do need my state. Okay, state needs to be done. Add new item. Be called game state. That has to go up above program. And cheesy though it is, we copy that over because my philosophy here is, it's going to need, my philosophy here is keep it doing what it's doing and change what comprises it. So take it from one file into multiple files, or change what the things do. And don't do both at the same time. Really, it's a general principle of do one thing at a time. Don't change it into multiple files and change how it works at the same time, because, well, it's often render because I fail doing that, and that's as simple as that is. So render does need game state. I grab this guy out. Here you are to render. And that's this. And event hand. And we'll just add new item. Yes, I can see the compiler getting mad at me. Event handler. The event handler needs to know game state. Event handler and renderer don't care about each other at all. And we'll take event handler. We'll move him out of here. All right then. See where is it angry? I don't have game state. Game state. These things are all ready. Open utility. I'll be back in a minute. And that's what happens when you live in a house with people and it's early morning and some of those people might get up and might need their diapers changed. So that's what's going on there. So it's not game utility. It is SDL utility, which gives me PX. All right, so those are the things. Of course, that may no longer be necessary at some point. These are, we need game state. Right, and we do need SDL utility. Give me the PX. Why is this one? Game state. Screen space. Oh, I also need, that's SDL rect. SDL rect. SDL geometry. Now it's okay. Alright. Everything's all groovy there, but I know this one is angry at me. That one's a simple render.render handler. Event handler.event handler. Very, very what are you? Event handler. Oh, that's game state. Open game state. So now, having hopefully refactored all of this, let's, it built, did it, or does it run? It runs. Oh, I see now. That's the, you know, I think I don't need this anymore. And we can always edit back. It's freaking me out. I'm like, oh, but did it hang? Is it slowly consuming all the memory of my machine? What's the thing going on? And go. All right. Well, that's super cool. So then, the game itself. So one of the things I don't necessarily like. Okay, so event handler I think is factored correctly, although really this guy's more of a dispatcher. Because really what this should be, well, let's rename it handle event. All right. So it's no longer event handler.event handler, it's event handler.handle event, which I like a bit better. Let handle quit event. Oh, well, we should take so quit event. SDL event, quit event. And we're going to return a game state option. I mean, sure, it's kind of silly. So take X and pass it to handle quit event. We're going to handle keydown event. So these can be private. Handle keydown event, which is a keyboard event. Keyboard event. And again, I get a game state option out of it. X back by 1. One thing I also need is the game state. See, now this is it really is about state. It's about state. So I don't really want to do it that way. I want to handle quit event. I'll take the state, handle quit event X. All right. And this is X dot anymore. I'll take the state, and I want to handle key down event X, because I don't really care about X. And any other event, just keep on keeping on. All right, so now we've got it for that. So even so, this is going to eventually wind me up in some sort of thing where I have to also multiplex it for what game state I'm in. This being a game state, but my game state is currently a two-dimensional point that I can move around the screen. Eventually, there's going to be things like there's a title screen or there's a whatever, and so this will have to dispatch the event appropriately. And maybe I have some sort of map. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's got to be handled on some level. One of the things here is I don't think I like my rendering context. Okay. So I want to do a type of rendering context, which is it's a record type, and it has at the moment these things. This will make some sense in a minute. So I want a renderer, which is an SDL renderer. I want a texture, which is an SDL texture. Surface. And bitmap. So I want a rendering context. But when I make my rendering context, I'm just going to pass that. I'm not going to pass all these things. I mean, it is fine. I could just use the currying like I'm doing. Dot R. Dot R. So all these places that have the individual objects that I was using. Now there's a rendering context that wraps the whole thing. spend some quality time capitalizing things. And hey, we can alt select that one. Capital R. Texture. All right. And well, the one place where we don't have it is right here. We have to do renderer equals main renderer. Texture equals main texture. Surface equals main surface. Bitmap equals bitmap. Well, main surface is just called surface. Okay, so now my render handler, and I don't want it to be called render handler anymore, because it is now called draw. So now we have my good old draw function taking a single parameter, which I prefer. Here's some stuff. Not that there's really anything wrong with the other way, and I may switch to the other way. Why do I really want to do this? I really want to do this because this is how I do it in object-oriented land. Here's a bunch of stuff to glom together. I don't have a big list of parameters. What's wrong with a big list of parameters? Nothing's wrong with a big list of parameters. This is my object-oriented self arguing against a pattern I see emerging in my other code. Also, is there a way that I would make this templated so that my rendering context is the same? No, not really. So for now, we're gonna go with rendering context for the moment. But I don't think I think it may not last. Also, we gotta look up wrapping some of these things. All right. Time to do some business. For one thing, the bitmap's got to go. I care not for the lousy bitmap. We're going to do some rendering. Let's get some rendering. And we got to get a plan together. So why do I use screen space? Copy. On this, I have to put the screen space on there, I think. Okay, I'm going to get rid of bitmap. Get rid of bitmap. So we're going to get rid of bitmap here. And let's get rid of it in our renderer. Got some works to do. We can rebuild. Does it work? Okay, we're succeeding. Am I still moving a box around the screen? I am. It's oop. Oh. What goes on here? So does STL render clear not really really do the job? Interesting. Because this should be, yeah, right here. SDL render clear should be making it purple. It used to make it purple. Well, do we have so what? T1 equal that. Let T2 equal that. Let's find out what's going on here. Okay, so T1, which is currently false, will become, it successfully set the draw color, and it successfully cleared the screen. And yet, I can move it around. Well, that's very disturbing. Oh, you know what? You know what? I know exactly why. Because my surface is not getting cleared out in each thing. So yeah, okay. It does not matter one bit that the render is getting cleared. Yes, it is. It is getting cleared, but what I'm not doing is some screen space. And that's blue. That one's blue. That one's red. 0, 0. Now we're cool. So now, yep, there we go. Not clearing the surface. And we really should. One of the things we definitely don't want to do, and I definitely don't want, and I'm going to work to fix that in between now and beginning of another episode, beginning of the next episode, is fill rect should take an SDL color. It should not take FF00000U. I mean that makes the job get done, but that is no good. And actually, we can go ahead and do that right now before we leave. We have a couple minutes. And where's my fill rect? My color should be an, where is color? It's in pixel, SDL pixel, color. Okay, so color is not what we can use. Actually, this one is a bit of a longer road, isn't it? All right, so I have an SDL color, and I have to convert color, map ARGB. I need to map ARGB, so I need a pixel format. So I need to map the color to a unit 30. So, okay, I will SDL pixel, map it from a color, but I'm going to need a pixel format. Let format equal int pointer 0. And I want to take SDL pixel, map color, I'm going to color map color, and I need the format. Okay, so that's not the format, naturally speaking. So what I do need is a surface function that will allow me to grab out, even if it is just private, let private get format of a surface, which is a surface, and it will return an end pointer. So I have surface. Do I have my native interop? Because I'm going to need you. Oh, I do. I native pointer of native int. And that is a SDL surface. SDL surface. Read. Native pointer read. Oh, yeah, so let SDL surface equal that. I want to return SDL surface the format. So now this will return an end pointer 32, and I want to take my surface, get format. Now, if I pass a color to fill rect, this should work. And let's try to make sure that it does work, because now I've got it's of course going to be angry with me because I'm doing things like this. Game state, and then color is in STL pixel. So red equals, this one's that's 255 UI, green equals 0 UI, blue equals 0 UI, alpha equal 255 UI. Let's that's white. Why am I doing white? Oh, that was stuff I was doing before. I don't need this junk anymore. Here. Okay, so over in my render function. So that needs to be black, that needs to be red, that needs to be blue. So black is 0 UI, not all UI, 0 UI. This one's red. This one is 0. Oh, you know, they always warned you, don't type the O. That's because in typewriter land, people would type the O for a 0. In reality, now it's been a different key for how many years. Why in the world? O is actually really right next to it, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So now it should build. And then we should be good to go. Run it. Do you work? And you work. Super cool. I wonder if the alpha stuff is on by default. Just curious. No. So all my alpha values mattered not one bit. That's okay. One of these days, turn on some alpha. All right. Well, that's gonna be enough for me for today, because I got some business to attend to upstairs. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, and keep the joy of functional game dev in your heart. See you next time.